11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. What a fight! I think they're going to win it.
Juan, the Hispanic causing panic, Lascano.
Thanks to those joining me live and those that'll be joining me on the archive. D-Style here. Hit that like button. Hit the bell so you're notified every time D-Style Boxing comes on live. You're watching on X. You could always subscribe to my channel, D-Style Boxing, here on YouTube. Just type D-Style Boxing. I'll come up. Hit subscribe. Hit the bell. Hit the all. And there you go. You know what I mean? Thanks to everybody listening here or watching, etc., etc. Hit the, that's right, round one said it. Hit the like button. You know what I mean? 100 every live is the goal. I've been falling short, but it's okay. You know what I mean? What matters is the effort. We're hitting the 60s, the 80s, 90s sometimes. And we're just a little bit out of reach, but it's okay. But every time you hit it, we're that much closer. All right? Now, there's going to be people with different opinions. And you're more than welcome to have your opinion. I mean, that's what it's all about. You know what I mean? Everyone with different opinions, different ways of looking at things. Cool. Right? But I'm going to give you my opinion and what I think. And I think everyone's going to look at this differently. Like everyone's going to just have a different perspective. But what you have to do with stuff like this is you do just kind of, you don't have to agree with what I have to say. I saw somebody call me a piece of shit because of my opinion, which is crazy to me, right? Okay, cool. Like, you think I'm a piece of shit? Okay, cool. Whatever. I don't think it's that serious, but everyone has a right to their opinion, right? Let me say this. This is not beer, by the way. It is root beer. Just saying. Okay, D-Style. He's drinking during the live. Not that it would be any of your business, you know what I mean? While the next was best, just sit back, relax, and listen to what I have to say. That's all I'll say. If I have a low IQ because of what I'm about to say, then it is what it is. Everyone has a right to their opinion. You know what I mean? Let me start off of whether I believe he'll get in. Then I'll give you my opinion. I do think Deontay Wilder's going to get in the Hall of Fame. I do. I think he checks all the boxes. He checks all the boxes. He's going to be a recognizable name. He's American. The voters of the Hall are heavy American, right? And the glamour division heavyweight, he was heavyweight champion. And he was in the media sphere for a long time. So a lot of people wanted me to have some type of relation or recognize Wilder in some way. I could easily see him be one of the 5 that they vote every time they submit their form. Easily. And I could see him sneaking in easily in the top 3, especially if the year's not that strong. And a lot of the big names that retired lately, since they reduced it from 5 to 3 years, have been getting in. So you do gotta think about that, right? It's very important to notice that, to acknowledge it. Now, granted, and I'll say this straight up, like Eubanks, Nigel Benn, I believe should be in. Why they're not in? I think it has a lot to do with the fact that it's heavily American, etc. Right? And let me say this. I know the response to a lot of it's going to be, well, this guy ain't in. Well, that guy ain't in. Why should Wilder get in? Right? I get that. However, I can't answer you why certain guys aren't in. Right? I don't have the power to get them in. Neither do you, right? The Boxing Writers Association of America votes them in, right? They get a ballot of 30, 40 people, whatever it is, fighters, and then they vote top 5, and then the top 3 out of the collective get in, right? That's the process. I have no control over that. I just want to like it is what it is. If you tell me a name that should be in, more than likely I might even agree with you, right? Well, this guy deserves to be before Wilder. Oh, tell me the name. Maybe I agree with you. I don't know, but it doesn't mean like I just want to make sure people understand that. Like my argument has nothing to do with who's gotten in and who's not been in, and it has nothing to do with that, right? Nothing. I just want to make that clear, right? Well, this guy, yeah, so many times he didn't get in. Okay, I hear you. We could look at that individual and assess it. I get it, right? But let me just say this. If we talk strictly, let me start out by just saying that I acknowledge many people are going to disagree with me, and that's fine, all right? That is perfectly fine, guys. You can disagree all you want. However, I'm going to give you my opinion, all right? Short answer, yes. I think Deontay Wilder should be in the Hall of Fame when and if the time comes. Is he first ballot? I don't know. It depends how strong the class is going to be, right? That's number one. But second, probably not. Like maybe he's not first ballot. Maybe he's one of those guys that gets in eventually, but not immediately. He's not. Is he a name I look at like when Floyd Mayweather retired? It was time, but boom, yeah, he's in. Well, Canelo retired, yeah, of course he's in, right? Like, yeah, there is guys that you look at and say, boom, first ballot, no questions asked, no, it's not even debatable, boom, boom, boom. Of course, like I would never make a video like this and say, should Floyd Mayweather be in the Hall of Fame? I would never make that video because it would be a stupid topic, right? Of course he gets in, right? I fully understand that it's debatable. I fully understand that people just disagree. I get that, right? I get that 100%. Nonetheless, here we are. Short answer, yes, Deontay Wilder, the Bronze Bomber, from Alabama, should be, who had that Alabama slammer, should be in the Hall of Fame. Okay? Now, Jeff, keep in mind, he's going to have 10 years to get in. 10 years. And don't count out Chocolatito yet now. Chocolatito might have another year or two. I'm saying. I heard he just had a phenomenal sparring session with Bam. You going to hang with Bam? Oh, you ain't done yet. Don't count out Chocolatito yet. And look, yes, Chocolatito is a name you look at. He's in. Like you know what I mean? Like, of course, he cuts the line before the dudes that have been waiting. Of course, he's automatic, right? Sean Porter, I'm not too sure, but you can make an argument. I think he's kind of in the similar. He'll get in eventually. I don't know about first ballot, though. I mean, I'm not going to call it. Y'all just want to retire Spence already over one loss. Maybe it took a lot of them that beat him, but we'll see. Lomachenko, I don't think Lomachenko's going to be retired this year. Maybe next year, maybe the year after, but that's another guy I do believe Lomachenko should be in the Hall of Fame. Donaire is a lock, in my opinion. First ballot, boom. Donaire is not even debatable. He gets in, right? Golovkin gets in. Like, there's no doubt, right? And I understand even me saying that. There's going to be people that disagree and like, oh, what do you mean? Like, okay, now, let me put it this way, okay? It's the Hall of Fame, guys. So to me, in the Hall of Fame, again, it's my opinion, there has to be some qualifiers. There has to be some type of stat or statistic that can provide some type of argument for you to be in, right? And then there's also impact in a sport. And I think they both work together, all right? And I'll explain what I mean. So first of all, things that are just facts. They're not like, we'll assess it in a little bit, but first, Deontay Wilder, did he become world champion? Yes, right? He beat a reigning world champion, or a guy that was a world champion. Like, he beat Stavern, right? Who knocked out Areola to win that belt, All right. So that's number one. Okay. Is that by itself enough? Of course it isn't. Right. But I'm just putting it out there for you guys. Okay. And then he had 10 title defenses. We could say what we want about him, but nonetheless, it's just a fact. He had 10 title defenses. Right. In my opinion, that's an accomplishment. By itself, does it get you in the Hall of Fame? No. But it's still an accomplishment. It's still something he accomplished. Right. I value defenses, whether they're voluntary, whether they're mandatories. I get there's a lot to critique there, right? I'm not saying there isn't. I'm just saying that when you look at that, right, just for what it is, it's a qualifier. It's just something that you look at and you say, okay, look, he won a belt. He was a world champion. He actually beat a reigning champion. He didn't win some vacant belt. He wasn't elevated to champion or something like that. Like, he actually beat a reigning champion. And then I also look at the fact that he had 10 title defenses, right? Throughout that, he had a draw with Fury. Say what you want. That was the official verdict, right? And some people do feel he either won or that the draw was justified. I disagree, but that's my opinion, right? The official verdict was still a draw, nonetheless, right? And it was also a phenomenal fight. The rematch, right, from my understanding, still holds the record for the highest gate in heavyweight boxing history. Now, that's not accounting for inflation. If you account for inflation, other boxing fights were valued more, like you know what I mean? But nonetheless, as it stands, without counting inflation, it's still the highest gate. It's close to, they're like 18 or 16, 17 million. I forgot that figure, but it did really good at the gate, right? Phenomenal. So shout out to MAW. Hello, boxing fans. He's down chat. Smash the like button, folks. Assessment also considers who the candidate competing to get in the Hall of Fame. Absolutely. Right? That absolutely matters. And obviously, it's all opinion anyway, right? Deontay Wilder brought excitement to the heavyweight division, a division that otherwise people were bored of. Networks took heavyweight boxing off of HBO, wanted nothing to do with heavyweight boxing. You can feel however you want to feel about it, but they stopped broadcasting for the first time ever the heavyweight championship of the world when Vladimir Klitschko was the heavyweight champion. And if you remember, like, little small networks like Epics and stuff like that were picking it up. It became a very dull time for heavyweight boxing. No, look, I'm not going to blame it all on Vladimir Klitschko. However, his style was hard to watch, and that's just my opinion. This division needed a spark. This division needed some excitement and relevancy in general. Somebody might say, well, this time you're looking at from an American perspective. In Germany, he was selling out, Klitschko was selling out stadiums and this, that, and third. Fair enough. But however, it is my opinion, and of course, it's going to come from my perspective, right? So that's how I look at it. Okay. And the reality is there was a level of excitement that he brought to the heavyweight division. There was. Him knocking out opponent after opponent, whatever your opinion is about the level of opponent, I will never sit down and say, oh yeah, his fights were not exciting, because they were. Right. And I'll even admit that at one point I was a big Bronze Bomber fan. Right. And so I'll just respectfully disagree with Lennox's best. I think he did bring excitement to the division. Like, it just is what it is, bro. Like, he did. Now, it wasn't just him. And this is the problem that people have. If I say he helped bring excitement to the heavyweight division, everyone thinks I'm saying, not these other guys. It was just Wilder. That's not what I'm saying. Right? I'm not saying Anthony Joshua didn't play a role in helping revitalize the heavyweight division. That's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying Tyson Fury didn't play a role in revitalizing the heavyweight division. I'm not saying that at all, right? I think they all played a role. Their stories are not complete without each other, right? Their stories are not complete. Like it's like peanut butter and jelly. They all need each other in the story. And I do think that if you were to, you would have to be completely disingenuous, right? To act like Deontay Wilder didn't play a vital role, right? In the story of the heavyweight division, okay? For better, for worse, in whatever your opinion is, okay, in the last decade. I just feel that would be completely disingenuous. You would have to be completely disingenuous to act like the Bronze Bomber didn't play a vital role in the story of the heavyweight division. If you have to write a book about the last 20 years of boxing, like there isn't a chapter you're going to go through where the Bronze Bomber isn't talked about, where Deontay Wilder isn't talked about. You're just not going to, you know what I mean? Now, somebody might say, well, yeah, but I don't think that's enough to get him in Hall of Fame. That's your opinion? I think it is. Post Klitschko era, right? There's only 4 heavyweights right as of now that I would put in the Hall of Fame. Right? They retired 3 years from now, I put them in the Hall of Fame. Anthony Joshua, Tyson Fury, and Usyk. And then there's Deontay Wilder. Those are the only 4 post Klitschko era that I would put heavyweights that I would put in the Hall of Fame. That's it. Those are the only 4 out of thousands of heavyweights that have participated in the Marcus of Queensberry rules style of combat sport, which is boxing and the fisticuffs. Out of thousands that have participated, tens of thousands in the last 10 years or so, only 4 make the cut in my book. So spare me the, if you get Wilder in, you should let anybody in. Not a lot of guys are getting in. Sorry, Chisora ain't getting in. Dillian White ain't getting in. Plenty of guys aren't getting in my book. But he was an important, there was a time in heavyweight boxing, whether you like it or you're not, you could hate it, whatever it is, you can call me names, you could throw eggs in my face, you could throw tomatoes at me, virtually speaking, right? Don't actually do it. When I go out for my walks, don't drive by and fuck Wilder. Like, don't do that. All right, that's not cool. But if you do, you do. If you find me and you do it, whatever. But I just think that the impact he had on the sport was big. I do. I think it was important. You know what I mean? And I think it's gotten to a point where people dislike Wilder so much they didn't want to admit he was exciting, bro. Like I mean, what type of a hater you got to be to not even admit that he was exciting to watch? Like, you didn't get excited for the Deontay Wilder fight. No, I wasn't excited. He wasn't excited at all. Like, I mean, come on, dude. Right? And I think the dark cloud is Glovegate. I think the dark cloud is what happened during Glovegate. And for most people, I know some of them never liked Wilder. That's cool. And look, if you're not impressed at all, you still don't think that's your opinion, that's cool. I'm just giving you my opinion. I think the fan base made people dislike him a lot. And he made people dislike him a lot. Right? There's a lot of things that he did. Like Jeff, come on, you put your sword over Wilder, bro. Like, I'm sorry, brother. Like, give me a break. All right? What did Chisora ever do other than just lose every single time he stepped up? Well, when the narrative is, Wilder finally stepped up, he lost. Like, Chisora, did you not see how easily Fury just handled Chisora and just destroyed him? Did you not see how Fury just handled, just destroyed Dillian White with absolute ease, like level? He just looked levels above Dillian White. Levels. Made it look easy. He easily beat him. It made people thinking he could beat Fury look laughable. Laughable. And why did people feel that way? Why were people picking Dillian White to beat Fury? Or that he's going to give him a hell of a fight? All right? It was this syndrome that they had. That, Wilder just isn't that good. Fury just made him look that good. Just watch. The real heavyweights are on this side. And when he gets in the ring with Dillian White, and then he goes in there and absolutely annihilates, dominates, looks levels above Dillian White, making anybody who was saying Dillian White would win look stupid. All of a sudden, oh no, but Dillian White wasn't the same. He wasn't the same guy anymore. He waited too long, and by the time he got to Dillian White just wasn't the same dude. Or he wasn't the same dude all of a sudden. But when Deontay Wilder clearly doesn't look the same anymore, oh no, it's the same Wilder that's always been. It's the same dude. It's the same one. That's always been Wilder. He finally stepped up against Parker and he lost. And he finally stepped up. No, it's the same exact. He hasn't slowed down. It's the exact same Wilder. It's just my opinion. All right, just my opinion. I just think that people are being disingenuous. And I think they're being disingenuous because of the over the top, diehard, Glovegate Wilder fan. And I do believe that fan base has only hurt Deontay Wilder. I do think that they're over the top accusations and over the top, yes, overrating of Wilder. Like in addition to that, because I have a lot of the same criticisms you guys have, right? But you can't deny that it is the Hall of Fame. But it's not the Hall of Skills. It's not the Hall of Resume. Now, I'm not saying those things don't play a part, right? But it's about significance and impact in the sport. If somebody were to ask me, does Naseem Hamed should he be in the Hall of Fame? My answer is yes. Of course, Naseem Hamed should be in the Hall of Fame. Are you kidding me? I don't know if he is or isn't, by the way, but of course he should be in. He gave my vote. Boom, yes. I remember watching Naseem Hamed and how exciting he was, and the excitement that he brought to the little guys in heavyweight boxing, and how that expanded into other names that we later on. You cannot deny that. Now, I'm not arguing that Wilder had the same effect as Naseem Hamed. Don't get me wrong, right? That's not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is that he did have an impact. When I'm saying that he was known, well, what I'm saying is that he did give us great fights, right? A lot of the fights he was in were exciting to watch. Was he the best of his era? No. Look, I'm not here to argue that. Was he, the results prove that, right? Like, I'm not arguing otherwise. I'm not even saying that he's above AJ. Like, for some reason, it's like, I think he should be a Hall of Famer. No. What about AJ? Like, yeah, I think AJ should be it. Yes, I think AJ's going to get in, right? You could even argue AJ is going to be a first ballot. Like, I'm not even saying, he should be, if they both were on the ballot, I'd probably vote AJ first, right? And if I can't get Wilder in that first, okay, whatever. Of course, but that's not the argument. The argument is not who deserves it more, which one of these guys. 4 heavyweights post-Klitschko era get in. That's it. That's it. 4 out of thousands. So I just, what gets to me is, if you get Wilder in, then just let everybody in. It's just we're not letting anybody in, right? And this is why the qualifiers are important, okay? Because I know that people will turn around and say, in that case, Jake Paul's famous and he's popular, so when he retires, get him in the Hall of Fame, right? Yeah, but what are his qualifiers? Well, what did he do in the ring that would make him qualified, right, to be considered? What did he do? Did Jake Paul win a world title? Did Jake Paul have title defenses? Did Jake Paul fight top opposition of any sort? Any top 20 guys? Did he beat a top 20 guy, a top 10 guy? Did he compete with a top 10 guy? Did he fight another champion? Did he do any of these things? Right? Well, somebody might say, well, Wilder didn't fight another champ. Well, he fought Fury, who, when he left the sport, was undefeated, right? And look, and I get a lot of it, guys. I get it, right? He picked Fury because Fury was fat, doing lines of cocaine or whatever the fuck Fury was doing, right? Thinking of committing suicide or whatever it was, and Wilder did what 99.9% of boxers do. or would have done. That they looked at a guy and he had a name, he was making a comeback, and hey, well, what, you want to fight me, right? And perhaps they did think Fury was washed, and maybe they did think he'll just knock him out, put that name on his record, and Fury had something else to say about that. I get that 100%, right? But nonetheless, Fury still came back. Fury still came back and he beat Wilder. He destroyed White with absolute ease. I mean, he just annihilated him. I mean, if Fury beat Wilder the way he beat White, we would never hear the end of it, right? Like, but he didn't beat him that easy. Like I'm just saying. I'm just putting that out there for all the real ones are over here with Dylan White. Like, no, they weren't. Okay, and then Fury loses to Usyk, in a split decision. And I think those fights clearly were it was closer than the two Joshua fights. It is what it is, right? So all I'm saying is this. This is all I'm saying. And you guys are free to disagree all you want. And by the way, I threw Usyk's name out there because he's the current heavyweight champion of the world. So if I say post Klitschko era heavyweights, right, that he's the current heavyweight champion of the world, of course I got to include his name, right? But like, I get it, right? And I do agree, Jeff. I do think it's just alone with what he accomplished at cruiserweight probably gets him in the Hall of Fame too. I get it, right? But here's my point. Usyk is going to be like you look at him in the battle he's in. Lock. Like, you know what I mean? Like, he's in, like, easy. Right? I feel the same way about Joshua. And I know there's people that disagree, but I think Josh is going to be a lock. I think Fury's going to be a lock. I don't necessarily believe that Wilder's a lock, right? I don't necessarily believe that he's first ballot or whatever. I concede that it would have to probably be like maybe not the strongest class, right? But I think, first of all, I do think he's going to get in. That's number one. Second, I do feel he should get in. That's just my opinion. And I think most people feel like if you're not a lock, you shouldn't get in, right? And that's perfectly fine. Like that's I could kind of see an argument for that, right? And I also understand that most people feel that it should be extremely difficult to get in the Hall of Fame, like more difficult than it is to get now, right? And that's your opinion, right? I mean, okay, but I argue that it is difficult to get in. I know people think it's easy to get in, but if it was so easy to get in, less than like a 1/10 of a percentage, right? Like less than 0.010% of boxers actually get in Hall of Fame. This idea that just letting people in like it's nothing just isn't true. Okay? So I think he has qualifiers that by themselves will get him in, but nonetheless are there, right? And I think he had an impact in the sport of boxing. Okay? That's just how I kind of feel about that. Lennox says, D-Style, Wilder fought AJ in 2018 and lost. Should he get in the Hall of Fame? I mean, but that's not what happened. I mean, we got to analyze things for what happened. We would have to watch the fight. We would have to see what happens. And then one fight doesn't define everything. What would happen after that? What would Wilder do after that? Well, what do AJ do after that? We got to kind of like assess it. You know what I mean? I also think people are too like the heavyweight division guys right now. Like we're recognizing more of the names. They're getting more shine. Saudi Arabia is highlighting a lot of heavyweight fights. But for the most part, mid 2000s, 2015-ish, that is, all the way to 2019, like there wasn't like this. Let me ask you guys this: like, what makes Vitaly Klitschko a Hall of Famer? No, I think he's a Hall of Famer. Look, I'm not arguing he shouldn't be, but why is Vitaly Klitschko an Hall of Fame? What about Vitaly Klitschko makes you say, resume-wise, when you look at his resume, right? needs to say Hall of Fame. Can somebody? I agree he's Hall of Fame. That's not what I'm asking. I have him in Hall of Fame. I would have voted for him, right? In fact, I think Vitaly Klitschko is pretty much a lock in my opinion, and I think he was. But that's not what I'm asking. What I'm asking is, how does a resume, like, how does a resume get you? What about his resume makes you say he belongs in the Hall of Fame? Modern King Bob, well, Wilder was a long reigning champion too, but that's not what I'm asking. What I'm asking is, what did he do? What in his resume makes you say Hall of Fame? Is a win over Corey Sanders good enough, like just by itself, to get him in Hall of Fame? Is the spirited loss to Lennox Lewis, which I think was one of the best heavyweight fights I've seen. And shout out to Lennox. Lennox was a beast. Is that enough for you? Is beating Adamek enough? A blown up light heavyweight, who quite frankly was a huge underdog, had no shot to beat Vitaly, but nonetheless, he got there, right? Is that enough? I never said I'm comparing both resumes. See, this is what we're doing here. Where it becomes like what are you saying? Wilder's better than Vitaly? That's not even what I'm saying. I'm just asking you, like, let's just put Wilder aside for a second. Just can you tell me what about Vitaly Klitschko's resume makes you say, resume alone makes you say Hall of Fame? What about it? I think Vladimir Klitschko's resume is way better than Vitaly's. But like, so what about Vitaly makes you say Hall of Famer? I never said, I clearly said Wilder's not a lock first ballot. He's not the guy you look at and say, oh, he's in for sure. I wouldn't make a video titled, is Vitaly Klitschko a Hall of Famer? I never did. Because he's a Hall of Fame. You know what I mean? Can somebody explain to me? See, what people are doing, they're comparing Wilder to AJ. They're comparing Wilder to Usyk, right? That's what you're doing. But that's not how you do, that's not how you determine if someone's a Hall of Famer. Like, somebody could be better than you, and he's a lock Hall of Famer, and you're like maybe you get in Hall of Famer. Like, but my point is this. Who did Vitaly Klitschko beat? What about his resume makes you say, just by itself, that he's a Hall of Famer? And we just base it on resume. Just that alone. And then people want to talk about here's the thing about Deontay Wilder. All right? People again, since they're comparing him to other heavy, they compare him to AJ. AJ got to the period from where AJ went from debut to become a world champion was a faster track than Wilder. Well, Wilder had a longer road, right? But it is what it is. But that's not even what I'm asking. What is it about Vitaly? When he beat Dickie Ryan? Like what? When he lost to Chris Bird and retired on the stool? What about his resume makes you say, yeah, I mean, and I know I'm gonna trigger people. They're gonna say, oh no, he was winning that fight. He was dominating, Chris Bird. I never said he wasn't, but the result's a result, right? When he beat Chuck Norris' brother, Orlin Norris? He's not really his brother, by the way. Would it be Kirk Johnson or what? No, I think the Corey Sanders win was a great win. But is that alone going to make him like a Hall of Famer? Would it be Chris Arreola? I thought that was a good win, right? But one of his best wins against Arreola, Stavern beats Arreola, right? And Wilder beats Stavern, but nobody's impressed with Stavern. Like, people just pick and choose when somebody's an impressive win. Okay? The Shannon Briggs win was good, but that was 2010 Shannon Briggs. Adamek earned his shot. I don't have a problem with the fight. Right? Chisora was like 15-2 going into that fight. Good win. I like the Chisora win for Vitaly. Manuel Shar? Did beating Manuel Shar make you say, yeah, oh yeah, Hall of Famer? Vitaly Klitschko's resume is weak, guys. Okay, and I love Vitaly. I'll take it a step further. You put Vitaly and Vladimir Klitschko in the ring, I think Vitaly fucks him up. Okay? No, we were never going to find that out because their brothers are not going to fight, right? But Vitaly Klitschko was a vital part of heavyweight boxing history. Okay? That's why he gets into my book. And he was a great fighter. And the heavyweight division in general, even today, it's very thin. There's not a lot of great fighters at heavyweight. There's not like the other divisions where you can fight a guy above you, below you, a guy can move up. Like guys like cruiserweights that move up and are successful are rare, like Usyk, right? It's not the same. Like, so you guys got to understand that. That's just my opinion, but nobody flings their arms in the air and they get outraged because Vitaly Klitschko is in Hall of Fame. Come on, Manuel Shar. Why do you fight Manuel Shar? Well, like you know, nobody says that, right? Look, the Solis win, by the way, I think it's a good win, right? I think Solis was a great fighter, right? But nonetheless, the way it ended was kind of and like, but we like, what did Solis really do after that? Really, like, you know what I mean? Like, Solis went on to lose like Tony Thompson and stuff. So like we got to put it in perspective a little bit, right? But like, it is what it is, like, and I'm not I'm not arguing, by the way, before, again, I know people are going to do it. Oh, you say Vitaly's not over. That's not what I'm saying. And anyone knows me, by the way, knows I was a huge fan of Vitaly Klitschko, right? But if I use the same microscope that you guys are using to, like, oh, let me look at the resume of Wild. Like, you know what I mean? Oh, he beat him, what? Like, I'm not saying there isn't room to criticize Deontay Wilder. I'm not saying he was the perfect fighter, guy. I'm not saying I'm not making an argument he's the best of his generation. I think the results, especially in the Fury fight, proved otherwise, right? I'm not saying that he's more worthy than an Anthony Joshua to get an Hall of Fame. That's not what I'm saying. People think I'm saying that. I'm not saying that. Right? So that's just how I personally feel about it. And John Martinez, Manuel Charlo was his last fight. I'm just saying, bro. You know what I mean? If Chris Arreola is a good win for Vitaly, and that's one of his best wins, then it's a good win for the guy who knocked him out and Stavern, right? Wouldn't it be a good win? An old Arreola gave Andy Ruiz all he could handle, the same Andy Ruiz, and knocked out Anthony Joshua. So we got to put things in perspective a little bit. All right? That's all I'm saying. Quite frankly. You know what I mean? So look, I thought the Bermain Stavern win was a really good win. He did beat him twice, Reese. I don't know if he knocked him out twice, but I know, I think he knocked him out once. Or they're both knockouts. I don't know. You know what I mean? Let's look it up. How many times did he knock out Arreola? I think only Wilder and Stavern knocked out Arreola. No, nobody else ever stopped him. Yes, the first one, it was a wide decision for Stavern, and the rematch, he knocked him out. Okay? So there you go. My opinion, I think Stavern, when he was a reigning champion, I thought Stavern was a good fighter. Okay? I think that's a great win. That's my opinion. Okay? And boxing historian, if you're gonna have a name like historian, you got to bring the facts, brother. Like, you can't just, like, again, not everybody gets in. Like, less than 1/10 of a percentage of boxers get in the Hall of Fame. So it's not true. If you're gonna say everybody gets in, it's not true. You know what I mean? If you're gonna say they don't have, that's just not true. Just because you disagree with who gets in doesn't mean that everybody gets in. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's what people need to understand. And let me tell you something I've evolved in. I didn't like Arturo Gatti in the Hall of Fame at first, but then I thought about it. Like, look, he was a world champion, right? He was in a lot of fight of the years, right? Multiple of them, okay? And, right, he did lose when obviously he lost to, like, De La Hoya and Mayweather, but those guys beat a lot of other guys that became Hall of Famers too. But the point is this, right? I think Arturo Gatti had a clear, major impact in the sport of boxing, right? So I've actually evolved from, I don't think that guy should get into, I actually disagree with my former self and say I think I don't have a problem with Gotti getting in. And when you do your research and you look at it, like, granted, there's some other guys, of course, I feel deserve to be in there before Gotti, right? So I'm not like, just keep that in mind. I do think a lot of guys should be in that are not in. All right. I do think that there's guys that I feel should have been in before this guy or that guy. I agree with that 100%. It's not perfect, but all I'm saying is I don't have an issue with Arturo Gatti getting in, right? And it wasn't like the strongest class per se, right? Like when Chavez, Constantine, and Mike Tyson became eligible, dude, like, ain't nobody nobody else was gonna get in, right? But when Floyd retired, and then you have Vladimir Klitschko, and then you had freaking Andre Ward, that's it. Like, ain't nobody gonna, like, it's gonna be hard to get in, right? It just is what it is. So plenty of guys deserve to be in the Hall of Fame that are not in, right? I agree with that 100%, right? So look, obviously there's going to be some arguments, some of them phenomenal arguments, right? Some of them that I'm reading in the comment sections. But Jeff thinks he doesn't have that signature win. Fair enough, right? Nonetheless, I gave you my argument as to why he should get in. And I think he has enough of the, qualifiers, which alone don't get him in. But then you look at the impact that he had in boxing, right? And I think that gets him in. All right. I know a lot of you are going to disagree with me. That's fine. That's just how I feel. Did I read MEW's super chat? I don't remember. But thank you for the super chat, brother. Hello, boxing fans. He's down chat. Smash the like button, folks. Sussman also considers who the candidate competed with to get in the Hall of Fame. Actually, yes, I do remember reading it now. Thank you. Much appreciated. Everybody has a right to give their opinion. It's all good. I've given you mine, and that is that. All right. This is D-Style Boxing. Keep it boxing. I'm out of here. Peace.
11, 10,